Anime power systems have many issues. I've discussed some of them in my last video. If you haven't seen it, then go watch it now. What are you waiting for? I'll link it in the description below. Last time I went through the 3 laws of making a good power system by fantasy author Brandon Sanderson, which I'll very briefly remind you of. 1. Explain the power if you want to solve problems with it. 2. Limitations and costs are cool as f***. 3. Explore your system in depth before adding new powers. This time I want to introduce the concept of soft and hard power systems. So what am I on about with this soft and hard business, you ask? The hardness of a power system is how well defined it is. A power system that has clear boundaries and rules is a hard power system. It's a system that takes its rules seriously and doesn't ignore them for the plot's sake. A soft power system is a system that has very vague rules, or one that does not seem to have any rules. Or if there are any rules, then we simply don't understand them. However, keep in mind that it's not black and white. There's a spectrum of hardness. Some anime will be harder than others, and some anime will be softer than others. Now, you might be thinking, so is hard good and soft bad? The answer is no. Both can be good and both can be bad. A soft power system can increase the sense of wonder and awe in the audience. However, if used to solve problems, we can get the problems I discussed in the previous video. And hard magic systems provide fun and interesting tools to solve conflict in satisfying ways. However, they can sometimes end up being boring if it is not used or done well. Okay, so to put it into context, I'll give examples of some anime and what I personally think they classify as. The Ancient Magus' Bride has a soft magic system, so it would be to the left around here. Bleach, Dragon Ball, Naruto are slightly harder but still soft, so it would be around here as well. My Hero Academia would be in the middle, along with One Piece. And on the hard end, we have Hunter x Hunter and World Trigger, as they both have some solid hard systems. Now that this is out of the way, the solution to power systems in anime is as follows. 1. We need more hard systems. And 2. When using a soft system, an author should avoid solving problems with new powers that they come up with as they go along. Even making new powers can be somewhat regulated if a proper hard system is built around this, as is the case with Hunter x Hunter's Hatsu. So I actually wrote a whole script for this video using Hunter x Hunter's Nen because it's a brilliant system. But after writing the script and rewriting it, which took weeks, I was like, hey, you know what would be a good idea? Throw all my hard work away and do something else. Genius, I know. Anyways, Hunter x Hunter and Nen have been talked about a lot. So I thought it might be better to just maybe do it later, but for now I'll do something else. So what better than the best power system in anime as a replacement? And that is Death Note. In my opinion, Death Note has the best power system in anime. Now if we have another look at the scale that I've made, then Death Note would be right at the very end on the hard side. If for whatever reason you've been living under a rock and don't know what the power and rules of the Death Note are, then here you go. The human whose name is written in the Death Note shall die. The note will not take effect unless the writer has the person's face in their mind when writing his or her name. Therefore, people sharing the same name will not be affected. If the cause of death is written within the next 40 seconds of writing the person's name, it will happen. If the cause of death is not specified, the person will simply die of a heart attack. After writing the cause of death, details of the death should be written in the next 6 minutes and 40 seconds. And it's established early on in the series that the user can make a contract with the Shinigami by selling half of the length of his lifespan in exchange for Shinigami eyes, which enables the user to see people's names and lifespans on top of their heads. Which must be horrible. There should be a disable button or something. Imagine watching a film and everyone has names and numbers on top of their heads. Okay, now that you left your rock and you are now a person of culture who joined the rest of civilized society, let me enlighten you on how a good power system works in anime. Now let's follow the same formula as the last video and see how this system holds up against the laws. For the first law, Death Note is used throughout the series to solve problems, and the solutions are often extremely satisfying. I have grinned and outright laughed from delight from the genius of these solutions. This only works because we, as the audience, understand the capabilities and limitations of this power. For the second law, limitations and costs, the Death Note can kill, but it is limited by the user first needing both a name and a face. And if one wants to get around the name limitation, to some degree at least, there is a great cost. And the rule about stating the way in which a person dies is limited by two things. The first is the realm of possibility. For example, you can't let someone travel across the world and die within an hour. And the other limitation is the time limit of 6 minutes and 40 seconds. So detailed explanations can't take really long time to write. However, Light also gets around this in a smart way, which is writing the names after the explanation. The limitations of Death Note play a key and central role in the plot. For example, L's genius in figuring out Kira's location using the TV broadcast, and the challenge afterwards to determine this limitation. And limitations have been played with in fantastic ways throughout the series. As for the third law, Death Note pretty much stuck to its power without having to add new power-ups every now and then. And the power was most definitely given enough depth and explored and even exploited to the max. For example, adding the fake rules later was a genius idea. And the way Kira dealt with the FBI was also awesome, and essentially this was happening throughout the series. Now I'd like to propose a fourth law to making a better power system. Let's call it the Otaku Doctor Law, and it is as follows. The system should contribute and link to the plot, and it should give it more value and depth. I'm surprised Sanderson didn't include this in his laws, considering most of his works do exactly that by incorporating their magic systems into the plot in awesome ways. So as I have explained, the Death Note is the source of the main conflict in the series, so there is literally no better application to this law. And my time is up. What did you guys think? And do you want me to do another one for Hunter x Hunter? Or have you had enough of power systems? If you liked this video, please like, share and subscribe. Otaku Doctor here, thank you for watching.
Because I'm Kira.